why do state parks matter?
Yeah, like how does it build a sense of community? This is kind of what I was.
Yeah, I think you could look at Devils Lake State Park as a really good example of that. It's like, what is it, 1.5 million or 1.25 million people a year go to that park because it's an amazing space.
The state of Wisconsin is home to quite a few state parks, with the most widely recognized being Devils Lake. Evan is underestimating how many visitors it actually receives. Over 2.5 million people visit this park each year. Other parks include Wyalusing State Park, Governor Dodge State Park, and even the Belmont Mound. This story needs to be told because state parks keep our history alive, preserves wildlife, and gives us a sense of pride in our community.
Parks have a really long history. There's a lot of motivations behind their establishment. But one of the things that they do is they make places available to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's the broader idea of just like public lands. But I think the state parks do a great job of empowering people and recognizing that they do have ownership of place, even if it's not personal. We have a project this is totally relevant too. So it's called the Driftless Oaks, and we ran it a couple of years ago. And we were looking for really old oak trees throughout southwest Wisconsin so that we could look at their growth rings and then use that to reconstruct drought conditions for as far back as we could go. And it was a 2-year project, and the first year of the project we went to every state park and chunk of public land that we could find in southwest Wisconsin. And what was really telling from that experience is how little public land there is in the driftless area of southwest Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that it's totally inaccessible to the vast majority of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really too bad.
Southwest Wisconsin has only one state park, being Belmont Mound. Most of the lands we see are not open for public access, so although we see nature and wildlife on our drive across the state, most of it is actually inaccessible to the public.
Well, there's a couple ways it could go. If it stays state land and there's simply no money for maintenance or anything like that, people still go to Devil's Lake.
Right.
Because it's exceptional and it is an easily amazing place.
Yeah.
You can go there and it's obvious wow, this is really special. Yeah. And so as long as they stayed state land, it would be one of those things where I think you would just have them fall further and further from people's sphere of awareness.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But what if you're new to a region? What if you don't have any friends that own land? Where do you go?
Right.
And you can read a book called Last Child in the Woods, or there's a term like nature deficit disorder now, where people are seeing how completely separated from the physical environment people have become.
Yeah.
As our society becomes increasingly technological and focused on screens and virtual reality and things like that, and how there are some really vital connections that people form with the landscape and the environment that we have not yet accounted for with our technology and things like that. So there's lots of work looking at your stress goes down, your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes down. There are all these really beneficial effects, health effects, if you go and take time to be outside. And if we don't have public land, that means that most people can't do that. Yeah. So I'm on our campus planning commission and our campus sustainability committee, environmental sustainability committee, and both of those groups are really interested in this. And what's pretty amazing is that you need to realize the Platte Mound, the university actually owns that. Memorial Park, I don't know if deer count as wildlife, but there's a lot of deer down there.
Yeah.
And I was biking around the prairie, which we have a native prairie,
Yep.
that is burned occasionally, which is a really cool example of the connection between people and biodiversity and landscape. And what's neat in Wisconsin, we actually have the honor and the responsibility, I guess, of being one of the homes of conservation.
Yeah.
Aldo Leopold is a really famous name associated with that. There's lots of other people that were involved that were really important too, but his work looking at the relationship between people and land, the Sand County Almanac, the idea that people can actually have a positive effect on the environment,
Mhm.
not just a negative. Those
Yeah.
are ideas that come out of that. And on our campus, we've got Memorial Park with the Prairie. We're in a slow conversation about oak savanna restoration on some of the sites that were hit by the tornado back in 2014. There's been some stream bank stabilization and stream channel restoration work down near the bridge in Memorial
Yeah.
Park. There's been some oak savanna restoration work by students in the Reclamation Club over by the greenhouses. There's the Platte Mound. There's kind of the broader societal benefit of the fact that we've entered into, I don't know where the contract is, but people are looking to put 2 big wind turbines and several acres of solar out on the farm, which would potentially be planted around with native prairie, which would mean that we're reducing our carbon footprint tremendously,
Yeah.
that we're also increasing pollinator habitat and water management.
In conclusion, we see the folks at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville taking strides as a community to make changes in our environment, while also preserving wildlife in our native lands. We are preserving literally thousands of years of history while also keeping the future in mind. At a state level, the DNR relies on volunteers and donations to preserve their parks and trails. Every person makes a difference, whether it's visiting the parks to volunteering our time and energy to preserve these state parks.